Hi, I'm James Donnelly. I'm with Safehaven Insurance, your Medicare and health insurance safe place. Welcome to Medicare Talk, my weekly podcast. It actually has morphed into more of a resource for seniors. If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and share, definitely without any question. I have a very interesting, unique guest today, Michelle Castellero from On Our Way Concierge. Correct? Did I say it right? I got it all right?
Did.
All right, perfect.
Perfect.
So I met Michelle in a business group, and I have to say, I really admire what she does. It's very unique. So I want to welcome you to the show, and I want you to tell us about what On My Way Concierge is. And how you started. So let's figure it out. What is On Our Way Concierge? And welcome to the show, Michelle.
Okay, thanks, James. Okay, so On My Way Concierge is specialty life management services for basically mature women, mostly women that are over the age of 50 years old.
So pre-seniors and seniors.
Yes,
okay.
Pre-seniors and seniors. So a lot of the women that I work with, even though they're over the age of 50, they still live very busy lives. A lot of them travel, even some around the world. A lot of them work. They go out of town on business. So they're really busy people. And then I do have others that are a little older that maybe aren't working as much. Maybe aren't traveling as much, but still need life management services at home, such as errands, organization, some companionship. I don't do very much of that. Pet sitting, party planning, waiting services. So
anything that a woman could need help with in her home, you would do for them?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So part of my motivation for getting into Medicare was my story was my grandmother fell. She broke her hip.
Yeah.
They switched her Medicare plan when she was in a rehab center. I didn't know anything about it. And I realized how difficult and I guess gray Medicare was. And it's very hard to understand. And I think that people complicate it on purpose. I feel like it's complicated on purpose to kind of scare people into making decisions. And I wanted to be a resource for seniors. And the first thing I did was get licensed and certified in Medicare. I sat with all of my life insurance clients and I worked with them on Medicare. And then I realized wow, I'm really not touching enough people. Then I started doing seminars and I started speaking at senior facilities, senior centers, things like that, just to be a resource for seniors because these commercials are really disgusting. I was with my wife for her birthday in the nail salon. There was like 14 commercials on in the 2 hours that we were there. Yes, I was in the nail salon for 2 hours. I was a little anxious. After an hour, I started to get really anxious because I was done and she was not, and I was getting very anxious. But I wanted to be a resource for seniors. I wanted to be an information source for seniors. So that was my motivation. And I really admire what you do, Michelle, because you're a resource for pre-senior and senior women. And it's really a necessity what you do. And it really makes lives a lot easier. So tell us about some of your clients. Tell us, 3 that stand out in your head and what kind of services that you've provided for them. I know we just had a conversation before that we turned on the cameras about a memory care patient.
Yes. So I have had a few memory care patients. I do not do any medical service whatsoever. So they were dementia patients, but they didn't need any hands-on physical care. So one in particular, she was a wonderful woman that I took care of last year. She would wander from her home, but she could still take care of herself. So she started wandering and not being able to find her way back. Okay. And that's when her husband realized, I need someone here just a few hours a day so he could work because he was running a business as well, to just keep an eye on her, do things with her. So that's what we did. We'd walk every day. We would do puzzles. I would make her lunch. We'd eat together. Sometimes she wanted to watch a movie. So whatever it was that she needed, she was just an absolutely loving, wonderful person.
That's
I
amazing.
Looked forward to seeing her every day. She unfortunately has passed. So she
It's going to be difficult for you because I'm sure you get attached to your clients and you form relationships and bonds, and then, you lose somebody like that. It's like losing a part of the family.
It really was. And it was very unexpectedly too. So no one even
Wow.
expected her to be gone. I still stay in frequent contact with her daughter almost daily.
They become part of your family. I mean, really,
they do.
It's like I my clients, they become part of my family. I know when people are getting married, when they're having children, grandchildren. So you become part of their family, and that's what's great about you or I. We build those relationships with our clients, and they become family.
They do, because trust is super, super important. You're in someone's home. Sometimes I'm in homes where they're traveling and they're not there. I do spend the night when I do house sitting and pet sitting. So you're in these homes by yourself, and they trust you to be in there. So it is really a huge, huge thing, for them to trust
me. I know what kind of person you are, and you're a really great person. So definitely trust is unique. And I try to, when I work with people, I try to, like when people work in my home, you always have your guard up, but then eventually you become friends, or you realize like who you can trust and who you can't trust. But, I definitely see that quality, and you definitely have that trust and quality. You're a good person. Aww. So that's good. That's amazing. So we went from memory care to pet sitting to house sitting. So those are just 3 of the services that you did. And it wasn't really memory care. It was just companionship for somebody who had dementia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And some other things that you do.
Okay. Well, like attracts like. So you're just as good of a person. You're a wonderful person. Anybody be very, very
thank you. I appreciate
privileged to work with you. So waiting services, sometimes some of the women that I work with, they're working and traveling. They are getting things delivered, packages, washer, dryer, who knows, piece of furniture, and they can't be there to wait for that. So if they have an important package that needs to be signed for, they don't want it out in the rain, it could be something really important. I can stay there and do that. And while I'm there, you can ask me, can you water the plants for me, Michelle? Can you let the dog out? And I will do that. I'll hang out and
so On My Way Concierge is truly a concierge service.
Yes.
And it's you kind of just go with the flow, and whatever needs to be done, you just get it done.
Pretty much. I do have a list of services on my website.
What's your website?
It's www.onmywayconcierge.com. But it's not an extensive list. It just gives you an idea of what I cover. Inside of those services could be many more things that you may want me to do. Okay.
And I know that you work with pre-senior and senior women. And I get that. I definitely do. Because, if it was my wife it becomes, a safety issue. I would never want my wife to be in a precarious situation. So I definitely understand that. And plus, I could definitely see you being an asset. I know that you said you deal with a lot of widows, right?
Yes.
So seniors, they lose a spouse, they're kind of lost. They really don't know what to do. So in what ways do you help them?
Well, I can come in if they need help. Sometimes they need help downsizing. I can help them do that. Decluttering, going through papers, all those kinds of things I can help them with. Meal prep.
Are you a good cook?
Yes, I am a very good cook. I have to say, I will boast a little bit. I am a very good cook. Like my mother, she's an excellent cook as well. So anything that they need, a lot of emotional support they need, they're lost. They don't know where to start sometimes. Sometimes going through things it's extremely difficult and emotional thing to do. Yeah. Letting go of things. You have to decide.
So if a spouse passes, they have all their belongings, to clothes, things, belongings, and you help the other spouse, the surviving spouse, go through everything and kind of donate or whatever else that you do, right?
Yes, to make choices. I don't tell them what to do. I just help them, support them in making those choices that they have to make.
Doing it by yourself, it's got to be burdensome. I can't imagine, God forbid, clearing out a loved one's closet, and it's just doing it alone. The fact that you are there as a companion, that really makes a world of difference.
Yeah, because some people can do it by themselves, but then there's a lot that really can't. And there's so much going on, and it's just more things that they have to deal with, that they really just need a support system in place sometimes just to be there.
And I could see the decluttering too, because a lot of times like you'll procrastinate and you'll say, oh, I'll get to that closet. Everyone has that closet. Like on Friends, Monica had a closet that her house was impeccable except for this one closet.
Yep.
So you procrastinate and you push it off and you say, I'm going to get to that closet. I'm going to get to one day. I'm going to do that closet one day. But when you actually schedule an appointment with Michelle and Michelle comes to your house to declutter your closet with you, it kind of motivates you to do it. You're not going to, Michelle's time is valuable. You're not going to, say, oh, Michelle, not today. No, you're going to do it. You're actually going to do it. And you help people, declutter and go through that Monica's closet, right?
Yeah, step by step. So we'll pull everything out, just say closet, for example, pull everything out is how I start. You want an empty space because once it's empty and you see it's empty, you don't want to put all of that back in there. So you pull it out. I will help them sort it, decide what they want to keep, what they want to go. I'll take it to the charity drops myself if they want me to do so, or we can make an arrangements for them for things to be picked up. We'll put everything back into the closet, the things that they do want to keep. And if it's a lot of stuff, I'll even help them with a garage sale from start to finish.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the waiting service, I know so many times we'll order something, my family and I will order something and it needs a signature. And you're like, oh my God, am I going to be in the office today? Or tomorrow when the package comes, am I going to miss it? And so many times we've missed packages and they leave that sticker on your door, you must sign. And it's, especially if you're waiting for something like, a last minute gift or something like that. So that's another service that you provide. You could just hang out and wait for the package to come and sign for it and then, go on your merry way. So that's pretty amazing. The memory care is awesome. The companionship that's huge, but you also do errands, right? You go food shopping, you do things like that. You return an item or go, send something back at a UPS store for somebody, right?
Oh, absolutely. I can take it back for them. I can return items for them if they bought something at a store and decide they didn't like it. I can return it for them. Grocery shopping. I've studied nutrition for about 25 years now. Okay. So if they ask me to go to the grocery store, I know what I'm doing when I go to the grocery store.
That's great. And you said meal prep too, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. We can plan a meals for the week.
Okay.
And whether it be lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever it is, and set that up. I can go to the grocery store for them or with them, pick everything out. And meal prep for the week.
Wow.
Sure,
That's so I know my wife and I struggle with that all the time. Like who's working late, who's not working, who has soccer. So I could see how that service is definitely valuable.
And some specialty services that can be connected to that. I'm a big farmer's market girl. And I like to go out east and get specialty items, honey, things like that. So if they want those things, so organic, I will go
truly
and get
organic
them.
shopping, meal prep.
Yes.
That's great.
Absolutely.
That's really great. So what else? I mean, I know you said pet sitting, which is really awesome. House sitting. So these are all great services that really anybody could use. And I see definitely, a widow who has a pet and wants to travel to go see the kids and the grandkids. And that's where you would come in and you would, watch the house and make sure the flowers are watered and everything's good. But I know you had said something about helping your client with finding a contractor or something like that, right? So how did that work? How did you do that?
So when you find a contractor for someone, say they need maybe a roofer. So I would get at least 3 to 4 roofers. Look up the research. Testimonials is really important when you're looking for somebody. Make sure they're licensed and insured. So I'd give them at least 3 to 4 names out of the ones that I've looked for, and then they will make the final decision as to which one they would like to hire. But I get rid of all the legwork for them and make it very
really
simple.
Great, because I know when my wife and I are looking for a contractor, or my grandmother was, it's really a pain in the butt. And a lot of times people are lazy because it takes time to do what you do.
It does.
So that's where, again, that service is invaluable because you're taking all the legwork out and you're almost saying, here you go. Here is the 3 or 4 contractors that have great reviews, that have testimonials. And, these are the 3 that you should pick from. So that's great.
Yes. I even, I found doctors for one of my clients. They were looking for certain doctors. So I would do the research, look for local doctors, gave them 3 names of each particular kind of doctor they wanted to. And then they made their choices.
It's so funny because in the Medicare and health insurance business, so many of my clients are like, I'm moving to Florida. I don't know, any doctors in the area. And then if you go on the website, for instance, somebody was moving to Queens and they were looking for a dentist. They were moving to Flushing, and there was like 1,300 dentists in a 5-mile radius of where he lived. So like, how do you sort through that? And that's where, you would come in and you would help them find a dentist with great reviews that's taking new patients. That's really awesome.
Yeah. I would even call if I needed to see if they were accepting new patients.
Okay.
So I would just keep narrowing it down. And it does take time for anybody that's done research for themselves.
I'm laughing
you get
because
frustrated.
I have this client. He's like, James, I need a dentist. And he's like, and I said, all right, so let's go. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this 1,300 dentists within a 5-mile radius. I'm like, he said, could you send me the list? I'm like, how about I just send you the first 150 and then you could go from there, So I sent him 150 and then he actually called me back. He's like, could you send me another 150, please? I was like, oh boy. So and that's why I'm chuckling, because it just happened last week. So I was laughing. I'm like, how did you go? I don't have the time to go through 150 dentists. I would have been like, all right, 5-star review. Let's go. That taking new patients, I'm done. But obviously he was very particular in picking a dentist. So as far as pricing, do you have like packages or anything? How does that work? Do they like buy a package and retain your services? How does that work?
Sure. So I work at $50 an hour,
which is very fair.
A 3-hour minimum.
Very fair.
I don't charge mileage or anything, so I try to stay in Suffolk County.
Okay.
So that I can keep that. So I don't have to charge mileage,
that makes sense.
unless it's a specialty thing where maybe someone needed me in the Hamptons. At that point, they would pay for 6 hours and mileage.
Okay.
With something like that.
So that's very fair. $50 an hour, 3-hour minimum. That's extremely fair.
Yeah. But then I also have packages. My highest one is 18 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that you can purchase. That actually brings the hourly rate down to a little over $42.
Wow. Okay.
But you don't have to use all 18 hours in a week. Mm-hmm. You have 6 months to use the 18 hours, and then I'll keep track of the hours. It's just in 3-hour increments at least.
Okay. Which makes sense.
Yeah. So my packages are like 6, 12, and 18. I try to keep them at 3-hour things, so make it easy for somebody if they only wanted me for 3 hours.
That's great. Yeah. And how do they find you again?
And then go to www.onmywayconcierge.com, or they can call me or text at 631-334-5822. I usually answer in less than 24 hours, or they can send me an email at michelle@onmywayconcierge.com.
Well, that's great. I really commend you, because these services are so needed. Needed. She sounded like my aunt. She says an R after every A.
Does she?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the worst. But these services are so needed. And I really commend you, because these are great services. And so many times I have clients that are widows or just lost a husband, and they need services like this because they really don't, their kids live far away or they don't have kids. And this is really great. So I'm definitely going to continue referring you. And I really appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to share with us?
Thank you, James. I appreciate it. It was such a pleasure being here and spending time with you as usual. No, I think that's about it. Just if anybody ever has any questions, that feel free, please, to reach out to me in any way that they want to. I'd love to answer their questions. Even if they don't need my services, that's okay. At least I can answer the questions for them.
That's great. Thank you so much, Michelle. Again, Michelle Castellero, On My Way Concierge, www.onmywayconcierge.com.